New York Attorney General Letitia James delivered a warning to President-elect Trump during a news conference yesterday.
We did not expect this result, but we are prepared to respond to this result. And my office has been preparing for several months because we've been here before. We faced this challenge before, and we used the rule of law to fight back. And we are prepared to fight back once again. Because as the Attorney General of this great state, it is my job to protect and defend the rights of New Yorkers and the rule of law. And I will not shrink from that responsibility.
Let's bring in Jonathan Turley, constitutional law attorney. She says she didn't expect the result, but maybe she should also think about, did she cause it?
Exactly.
Or, contribute to the cause.
No, with every one of these hearings and charges, the popularity of Trump went up. I mean, if they added another case, he would have been elected by total acclamation. I mean, people were looking at New York is exactly why they needed a new direction. And she is the face of lawfare. She ran on the pledge to nail Trump for something, anything. She didn't even mention what it would be, and she ran on that platform. And so it leaves many of us a bit cold to hear this self-congratulatory speech of hers that she's well prepared for what's coming. What she did may have helped Trump more than anything else or anyone else.
Maybe, yeah. Roll this. Ro Khanna is Democrat from California on moving past lawfare.
I think where we need to go, candidly, is to focus less about every one of his legal issues and all of the things about Donald Trump, and focus more on the American people. Go to these communities that we lost, listen to them, try to understand why they're angry, why they're frustrated.
Smart, right? Level-headed. Yeah. It's my understanding all the legal cases are going to wind down. I don't know how that happens, but apparently Jack Smith has said the same before Trump's sworn in. And you can't, Justice Department can't go over it after a sitting president. It's a conflict of interest. I think what is also intriguing is that the House looks like it's going to stay in Republican hands. If that is the case, then, I don't know, phone conversations, you name it, you know, right. Maybe A, B, C, D, fill in the blank. An impeachment will not happen in a second Trump term. Because even if the House flips midway through his second term, they could probably run out the clock over the 2 years of that time.
Well, that's part of the danger what we saw with James, is that with both the Houses in control of Republicans, any lawfare is going to shift to these DAs. That's going to have to be the center of gravity for people who want to continue lawfare. And look, lawfare is a form of rage. I just wrote a book about this, and rage is addictive. And people are not going to break that addiction. They're just going to shift it to people like James, who's always been willing to use it. Now, there's still some torpedoes in the water. We've got a sentencing hearing coming up in the New York case that's not subject to a presidential pardon. It's a state case. You've got a very motivated judge there. You've got James's own case, which I think is looking bad on appeal. So she may face a serious loss on the New York appellate level. You have the Georgia case, which has really sort of fallen apart. But there again, you have a very motivated district attorney, and she's going to try to keep that thing going down the road. So we have to watch all of those. But, you know, I said over a year ago that if Trump won this election, Jack Smith would likely never see a jury in either of these cases, and that appears to be the case. He is a lame duck prosecutor, and people are just waiting to see if he leaves on his own or whether he's shown the door. But either way, he's gone.
In the sentencing case hearing that we're waiting for, do you think that will just go away?
No.
Does the judge have the option of just saying, I'm not going to sentence him to jail?
Well, what he should do is do a conditional discharge without any jail. The problem is that has not been the trend of his rulings in the past. He's had a rather heavy hand on the side of the prosecutors. I think it'd be very unwise for him to sentence the president to any jail time, but it would be appealed, and the president would not have to go to jail.
How do you conclude that case then? Is it fine, or how's it resolved?
Well,
because he's 19 days away from going into a prison cell when he won re-election.
Well, there's a lot of room at the elbows on conditional discharges. You know, you can send people to home confinement, community service, but you can also do none of those. And I think that's the option here. This was a really awful case from the beginning, and even people on some of the other networks have criticized this case as being unfounded and unprecedented. I think this is where this judge needs to listen to his better angels and call it a day. Now, if he imposes something harsh in terms of a sentence, it'll be appealed, and he very well could lose. Keep in mind, we still haven't had an appeal on what he did at trial. I think that he has layers of reversible error in this case. So even if he's sentenced, they would now look at the whole Megillah, and they would then decide if this thing can even survive, given the verdict.
All right. Well, it's been great to have you here.
Will you bring a flow chart next time?
I will.
Because I'm listening really carefully to you.
So, Mrs. Turley, he has the bagels.
Yes.
I
And
do.
he is returning to Washington, D.C.
Yes, I ran a mile to get my wife bagels because she is a bagel snob.
This is true love. This is
Yes,
true love. And,
yes.
and we love you, and thanks for being here.
Thank you very
See you
much.
soon for the next case, right?